All right, finally time for this tier list video I promised you guys for, but it's not going to be completely accurate because obviously you guys want it now, so I haven't had time to do all 1v1s after, the fruits have been changed and stuff. So I'll just give a rough explanation of where I think they should be and where they should go, and I won't be putting them in any specific order. I'll just be putting them in the tier I think they belong in. Anyways, let's see. First off, go ahead and do the last fruit of the last update, the last new fruit, Leopard V2. Obvious for obvious reasons, S plus tier, still a great fruit. Here's the fruit Battlegrounds wiki. I might put the link in the description, I might not, but obviously the kit is just oppressive. It's one of the fastest movement speeds in the game, up there with actual Leopard 2. I'm pretty sure it's only outsped by like Phoenix, and then Soul can still let you basically catch up. And the moves are really oppressive, and overall it's just really a great fruit. Anyways, next up, let me try to put something in each tier first. I'll go Magnet. Magnet's a really great S tier fruit. If you know what you're doing, Metal Arms Repel can be really great. It did get nerfed though, which can hold it back in some fights now, but overall Magnet is really great for combo starting while keeping yourself safe depending on what you're fighting, and it can be really good. It just really depends on, again, what you're fighting. But Magnet overall is a pretty good fruit. Let's see, next up I'll do something for A tier. I'd say for A tier maybe something like String. Yeah, I'd say probably something like String. String's a pretty good fruit. I won't say it's broken or anything. A lot of people try to complain about it because of the clone, I guess, but again, the clone is a move. So when you have to use your move or maybe one or two moves to counter one of their moves, then it just kind of makes sense because, again, they use the full move for it. They have, what, 3 other attacking moves and then 1 mobility move. It just makes sense. And String in itself it does have 2 auto target skills, and then obviously Overheat Whip is just like frame 1 brain dead. But overall, String's a pretty good fruit. Then we got B tier. I'm not gonna lie. No real clue what I want to put here. I guess I'll put maybe Ice V1. It's either I could either put something like Ice V1 here, which isn't the best, but I've still seen people try to make it usable, or I could put something like Dark here. I'll put Dark here because I feel like this is one of those fruits where it can be amazing if you're fighting somebody who doesn't really know that much about what they're doing, but the second you fight a competent player, you're just fried and cooked. That's a lot of low tier fruits, to be fair. Like you can go like actually beat on people with some low tier fruits, but the second you fight like a competent person, then you will lose most of your matches. But I'll go ahead and put Dark in B tier and Ice V1 in C tier. Am I confident on these rankings? No, but I just know they are both beneath String. That's for sure. And then for the last tier, it's like the worst fruit in the game right now. I'm trying to think. It ain't Falcon. It's not Rubber. It's not Magma V1. It's not Smoke. I don't think it's Sand either. I don't think it's Barrier. Chop is like mid, but I don't think it's that bad. Chop's going in Chop tier anyway. So if I had to say what was the worst fruit in the game, I don't really know. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep ranking and eventually I'll move down to that because I'm wasting time. Anyways, next up, S plus tier, Dark X Quake. For obvious reasons that's going up there. It's just a really great fruit. Oh, another C tier. Actually, I'm gonna move Ice V1 up to B tier because Ice V1's low-key like decently usable. I've seen people use it and do dumb, stupid combos. It falls in the same category as like Dark V1, but Flame is just buns. I'm gonna be honest. Flame V1 is just buns. It might actually be the worst fruit in the game. Like this is actually just buns. I'm not gonna lie. It's just worse at doing like everything it does that like other fruits can do like similarly. It's just bad. I'll be honest. Always just get the V2, especially since it just got buffed. Speaking of the V2 that just got buffed, go ahead and put that in S tier because with the buffs it can actually fight some stuff now instead of getting stun traded every time you go for like Blazing Meteor, so it's not completely hoarded anymore. Decent fruit for sure. And we'll go Leopard. Put it up here. Actually, I'm not putting them in order, so I'm just gonna put it like that. S tier fruit. It's not S plus tier because these fruits are just a cut above, but it is still definitely better than like string and stuff. But it's, you know, it's still fightable by stuff, and that'll be in the A tier, and it can sometimes compete with stuff in the S plus tier, but it's just still not as good. Then we'll move on to Ice V2. After nerfs, I think this is S tier. You could argue it's S plus tier, but the problem is its combo starter, like the main combo starter you use being Ice Hail, is way too RNG dependent. Like, go watch that video where me versus Donnie, Garb versus Ice V2. He almost got the unlucky fling every single time, and if your opponent has any means of staying above the ground, or they know how to unblock mid Ice Hail and attack you, it can completely like just kind of stomp on Ice V2 a lot. So it moves it down for me personally, but if you wanted to say it could be S plus tier, then I won't argue with you because it does have a really broken starter, but I personally don't think it belongs up there. Next up, Falcon. I'll put Falcon. I feel like Falcon's better than both of these, so I'll put it in B tier. Honestly, I'll put these down in C tier. I'll put Falcon up in B tier because I feel like Falcon's better than both of these. I feel like these are just like trash player stompers. Like, if you get stomped by one of these, you're just bad at the game, I'll be honest. And then I'll put Gas up here with Falcon. Falcon's or Gas isn't terrible, but if you fight somebody who knows how to counter it, like this one isn't just like common sense dodge some moves and like hold F. This one's like they actually have to like look at you and counter certain moves, which is mostly just relaxing Gas. I'm gonna be honest. If you can't counter relaxing Gas and you get folded by Gas, either your fruit can't counter relaxing Gas or you just suck at the game. But usually it's the second one. Anyways, next up we got Light V1. You could argue this one for S tier. I'm not gonna lie, you could definitely argue it for S tier. If you wanted to put it up in S tier, I wouldn't be mad at you. But A tier is where it like properly belongs. But there are certain matchups where it just actually dominates that makes you think it's an S tier like fruit. Next up we got Ope. S plus tier, obviously, just a great fruit. Not much to say about it. Room Shambus, just a great fruit. Barrier, pretty sure it's not that bad right now. Honestly, it might be a B tier fruit or like C tier. I don't know, but it's definitely around here. Your decision on where you want to put it, but it's definitely somewhere around here, especially with all the buffs that it's gotten recently. Then next up, we got Quake. This is an S tier fruit now. Finally it made its way up into S tier. It was A tier for so long, but it's finally good enough now to where I can confidently say I could put this up in S tier. Obviously there are still a bunch of matchups against mythics. It gets stomped in, like it gets stomped, but overall I am finally happy that, you know, it does finally belong up in this S tier. Next up, Magma V2. This one is high S tier, or arguably like low S plus tier, especially after the buffs. Like I honestly want to put it in S plus tier. I'm gonna be so for real, because like with the Mygo buffs and just like the Mygo buffs, I'm gonna be honest, it is really good now. So you can actually get up close in an opponent's face and they won't just be able to stun trade you. But even with that, there's a lot of fruits that you can't just obviously get in their face to set that up. So I won't say it's the greatest thing in the world, but it is still a great like extra option for combo starting. So definitely like arguable S plus, but S is where I'll put it. Lightning, I got this in S. Lightning's like an S plus tier fruit in terms of stall, but a lot of legendary fruits can go even with Lightning and make it like a really tight match, especially because like a lot of them have more unconventional ways of starting compared to the mythics. Now against mythics, Lightning's really great at stall, and if you wanted to put it S plus, that's fine. I don't disagree with that. Completely fine in my opinion, but I personally have it in an S tier just because it goes high diff with so many lower tier fruits compared to other mythics, which can kind of stomp out the lower tier fruits. Anyways, next up we got Doe. I'm gonna put this in S tier. You could argue S plus tier, but I just don't think it belongs there. I think Doe V2 belongs in S plus tier because it's like the cut above. But in general, Doe V1 is still an amazing fruit. It's just very fightable, which, I mean, if you know what you're doing and you're not walking into grilled does and you know how to like second an enemy, but I mean, that's just depending on you as a player. But obviously Doe V1 is still an amazing fruit, which is why it's in S tier, but I don't think it's S plus tier. Then we got Magma V1. If you know what you're doing and you know how to do the stupid combo with this fruit, you could argue this for S tier, not gonna lie, but Again, the combo starting kind of sucks for it like sometimes, so I wouldn't primarily say it's the best thing in the world, but it definitely does some good damage when it needs to. Then next up we have Dragon V1. This is an S tier fruit. I'd probably say like low S tier if I was doing these in order. Especially because Draco Meteor breaks, and if people know how to Tatsu, if you're fighting somebody who knows how to Tatsu tech, and they actually have a move that can counter your Tatsumaki, then this is an A tier fruit. But if they don't, then Dragon's an S tier. Great combo starter, great movement speed, and great combo damage. It's just pretty decent all around. It could get a fix on his Draco Meteor hitbox because it's kind of buns, but overall the fruit itself is not bad. Then we got its evolution, its predecessor, or not predecessor, but I don't know the word I'm looking for here. I'm gonna be honest. But the upgrade, right? We got Dragon V2, obviously an S plus tier for obvious reasons. I don't really think I need to really go into a deep explanation about why Dragon V2 is above Dragon V1. And we got Phoenix, S tier. Not good enough to belong in S plus tier, but still a great fruit. Obviously, good movement speed, like the fastest movement speed in the game, the fastest mode charge in the game. It did get its mode duration nerfed, but still a great fruit overall. Really good combo starters, 2-frame 1 starters as a matter of fact, and it can be really oppressive. And then we have Venom, S tier. Obviously not going to be an S plus tier after all those nerfs it just received. Great fruit overall. I've said that a lot, but I'm just saying, like, it is a great fruit because I'm putting a lot of them in S tier. So I mean, I have to call them a good fruit because that's what it is if it's here. It can fight most things off. Even in base, you have your little toxic hydra or turret, whatever it's like the actual name is, to fend off your opponents and keep them back, which makes it really annoying stopping their regen. And then you get mode back decently fast, and then once you're back in mode, you can be quite oppressive with Poison Storm, Venom Road, or Geyser, whatever you need to use. Overall, just a pretty good fruit. Not S plus tier, but it's a pretty good fruit. Next up, we got Soul. This can go from either C tier or S plus tier, right? Depending on what you're fighting, this can be a C tier fruit. Genuinely, it is horde if you don't get into the mode. And it will always be horde if you don't get into the mode, right? But if you get into the mode, this is an S plus tier fruit. If I really wanted to balance it, right? I'm gonna do this just because I know people are gonna skip straight to the end of the video and take screenshots, right? And just because I want to see some engagement off that alone. If you're watching the video, you obviously know I said this is an S plus tier fruit, but they're gonna skip to the end, so they're not gonna know that. So anyways, this is either a C or S plus tier just because of the simple fact of if you get in mode, S plus. If you're fighting something that stops you from getting into mode and you can't land a single hit and you are stuck in base for the entire fight, which is completely possible, it's a C tier fruit. All right, anyways, let's keep going. TS Rubber, S tier, probably low S tier, but the mode got buffs, so it's pretty decent, especially the King Kong gun now. It actually hits people, which is pretty nice. And then there's also, just in general, the base is pretty oppressive. If you know what you're doing, the base isn't that good, depending on what you're using. But most like newbies or like just new players get stomped on by TS Rubber and call it the most broken thing ever, and call Jet Pistol the most brain dead skill ever, which it kind of is, but it also kind of isn't. Then next up, we got Gear 5, S plus tier. You could argue high S tier if you really wanted to, because sometimes Gear 5's combo starting sucks buns. But overall, Gear 5 really isn't that bad of a fruit. Great combo damage. Common is not a bad starter. Spinning Top can be a good starter and sometimes, and you know, Gigant can be good pressure sometimes. It just kind of depends on how you use the fruit. But overall, it's definitely not a bad fruit. Then we got, let's see, Rubber, regular base Rubber. I don't know why it's all the way down there while I'm dragging it. I'll put it down here in the B tier with these ones. I don't think, it might be C tier, honestly. I don't think I've ever like actually been pressed by Gear 2 Rubber and it actually do that great. I'm gonna put it like C tier, not in any particular order, but C tier is where I'll put it for now. It's good, but it's just it might be B tier, but either way, just know it's B or C tier. I'm just gonna put it down in C tier because it's really not that good in my opinion and gets stomped by most things because it can't stun trade to save its life. Then we got Light V2, S tier fruit. Great movement. Has some stamina drain issues, but that's because of the fact that it has like some of the best movement in the game, being X Flash and Mirror Flight. Disgusting amounts of movement. the ultimate that if you don't have a stun trade for, you just kind of eat, and it's just the way it is. Light V2 is pretty strong, especially because it's one of the few fruits that can actually like maintain staying off the ground just because of mirror flight against certain people when pushing. So it makes it decently strong for the combo starting fighting at the beginning of a match. And yeah, it deserves S tier. And next up, we got Impact. Go ahead and put that thing in S plus tier, because actually, if there was another tier, I might put Impact above it, because honestly, it's low-key that good. But for now, it'll just be an S plus tier, because honestly, I don't believe it's that unfightable. But you know, then next up, we got, let's see, we'll go Paw. Paw is definitely, it's a not up there. Paw is definitely a good fruit. A tier should be fine for it. It's definitely not really hanging with S tiers like that, but it's still not a bad fruit, that's for sure. Could it be better? Yeah, but I mean, it's an epic, so it's like pretty good for the spot it's in. Gravity, this is a S tier. It did just get some damage nerfs, but overall the fruit works the exact same and it's still pretty good. Overall, Gravity's a pretty good fruit, pretty oppressive because it's like mostly spam the entire match. You throw rocks at your opponent, you make Gravity like launch them up from the ground, you push them. It's just a lot of spam until you hit that one great meteor combo after launch. Overall, just a decently oppressive fruit. Nothing too crazy, but it does get a little hectic, just a bit. Then next up, we got Ash. This fruit is pretty buns, not because its combo starters are buns, but because its damage is buns. I want to put this in C tier, but I'll put it in B tier just because it has actually, like, Obelisk is actually a good starter, and the one skill is actually a good like stun move. But the problem is it just doesn't do damage. If it did more damage, this fruit could be good, but it just doesn't do enough damage to be any good. Smoke, gonna put it down here in C tier. I don't think Smoke is good, but if you want to say it's in B tier, be my guest. Let's see, and then we have Saiyan. Again, I'll put it in C tier. I don't think it deserves B tier, but again, if you want to put it up there in B tier, be my guest. I won't argue with you. Love, I'll put this in S tier. It's low-key better than everything in A tier, I'm gonna be honest. Like Love is actually it's like the best epic fruit, to be honest. Like, it's really slept upon, but Love is disgusting, especially coming with that heal, and then the rest of the moves being all pretty good. We got Okuchi. With the Divine Serpent buff, this is either low S plus tier, or you could argue S tier if you wanted to, because Okuchi's combo starting still kind of sucks, if I'm being completely honest with you. And overall, you can mostly stun trade it every time they try to go for like a devastating drop or other things. But the Okuchi combo also, when done correctly, can do over 1,000 damage. So I'm gonna leave it in S plus tier because that's disgusting. You just don't get to set it up most of the time because it's pretty difficult, because again, you have to start with like Divine Serpent most of the time. But anyways, last thing on the list, Bomb. I guess I'll leave you in a clean little B tier. I guess that'll work for me. But anyways, that's it for the video, guys. This is the finalized tier list. If you skipped to the end, didn't watch, and you're questioning a placement, go watch the video back and find out why it's there. And yeah, these are not in order at all. They're just in the tier I think they belong in. But anyways, that's it for the video. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.